Hi guys, Ryu here, and in this video we're gonna be continuing this little sci-fi thingy. You guys requested for me to continue, so in part 2, so here we go. Just 2 words before we start, guys. There is a Patreon for Blender Bros where we are together with Josh. Amazing tiers, tutorials, 2 of them each month, decal packs, critiques, all kinds of cool stuff. Really cool ship design coming next month on February, so check us out, link in the video description. Now I was thinking about it, and we're gonna optimize it a bit, okay? I mean, not optimize it, but sort of improve the design of it a bit. So first of all, we're gonna do is we're gonna slightly change the bevels here and make sure they're not uniform, because it's a little bit boring. So we're gonna select this main shape, press Q, and make the bevel smaller with Shift. You can hold Shift to make it a bit smaller, like that. And we're going to select these edges manually, okay, with Shift and Control B. But you see that if I'm gonna press Control B and try to bevel this, these lines gonna get rearranged. So what we're gonna do before that, we're going to actually draw a line here in the middle. So let's select the face and press Control Q. And if this doesn't work for you, which is my kind of a custom shortcut, you need to go to Edit, Preferences, and under Key Map, type here Quit and remove Quit Blender shortcut, and then go to Q menu, and under ST3 Mesh Tools, right click on the Align tool, and here add a shortcut, Control Q. This will allow you to align to the view and perform interesting maneuvers with holding Control Alt and Shift and moving your mouse scroll. Now the reason why I did that is because I want it to be in the orthographic view here, so I can draw a straight line with my knife. So press K for knife, C to make the line straight, and enter. And we're gonna get this nice cut, and now I can combine these faces into together, and Alt X symmetry and symmetrize it so there's a nice division. We don't need this line, it's created for by the symmetry, so we don't need that. Also this one could be a bit better. We could either do this or maybe even connect these two. This line is a little bit stretched, so we can symmetrize it again and remove this middle line. Okay, so now what we can do is grab these 2 edges and control B them and sort of bevel them a little bit like that, and this will introduce some interesting form here. Now in addition to all this, what we can do is we can run some chamfers. So Control B and scroll your mouse down and make a chamfer. Another chamfer we could have in here like that. So this is cool. These chamfers gonna catch a bit more light, which is awesome. That's what we want. We're probably gonna keep a sharp edge here, although we could maybe drop another chamfer here. So alt click this whole edge, and so we're going to remove this side edge here and chamfer only this like that. Or maybe we're gonna make it a bit bigger. Let me see that. Maybe something like this would be interesting. Would it? Nah, I don't like it. Oh, let's try something else. Maybe we're going to run a chamfer on top of this. Now you see that my edge is flat, and this is because of special settings in Hardups. Control B, and if you press Z, you can switch from flat to curved. So make sure you switch that. I might actually go with a kind of maybe like a thick bevel here. What we need to do now, we need to select these 2 edges manually and run Control mark sharp on it. This bevel here is a little bit too skinny. We might actually drop it a bit so it stops overlapping and overshooting, and everything is fine. We could technically remove these 2 edges and unbevel them, or unsharpen them rather, and these ones as well. I think we have a bevel running on the weight. Let me just see that. Yeah, so if you have beveled that runs on the weight, these two edges gonna get beveled in addition to the chamfer. In this situation, that's cool because we got a chamfer and two bevels. In this situation, maybe not so. So I'm going to, you know, unbevel these. And this looks a bit cleaner, so we're going to symmetrize it to the other side and traditionally remove this line. So it might sound a bit complicated, but what you want in design is, you know, kind of differentiation between bevels and maybe edge width. It always makes a bit more natural. Here we could create some kind of I don't know, maybe some inset and or some cuts, or maybe one big cut, you know, inside here, or maybe some kind of cylindrical cuts. I have to think about this one. Now what we're gonna do is create some handles here. Also, I might actually run a chamfer here. Don't worry about the right side. We're just gonna, you know, we're just gonna symmetrize it again. So symmetrize it. You see, like chamfer, it just creates this kind of a nice highlight catch. It's a very nice way of modeling when you have a lot of chamfers and different edges of different thickness. It's quite important. We could separate this bit. Okay, so select this one and Control L. That's gonna select everything. So we're gonna select this face and Control plus twice until all these faces are selected, and press P to separate it. And now this is gonna be a separate thing. We just have to close it. So Alt click here, press F, and we're gonna grab this one. And we need to, you know, make it manifold. So select the edge in the middle, press F, right? And Control plus and F to, you know, create something like that. So now it's closed. Now this is separate, which means we can actually, you know, bevel it differently. We can make it much more sort of smooth and supple. G and, you know, X and sorry, Y, move it in and create something like this. So you got this difference of bevels, and it's really interesting. Like I said, makes it more realistic. Okay, cool. Now this face is a little bit flat here. I think there should be an edge here with a bevel. So mark this, and we need to mark this here as well. So mark sharp. In fact, let's bring it to local and see if everything is fine. Everything is fine. We could run a chamfer here as well, or a bevel. Let me see that there is some loose vert in here. No. So select this edge here, up to the front, and let's try to chamfer it, see how it looks, or bevel it. Let's see how this looks. We would need to remove the additional bevel if you wanted to do that one. So unmark it and bevel it again. No, I think I prefer it to just remain like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, now we're going to create some kind of a handle here. I was thinking to introduce some handles here inside. Probably gonna do this as well, but I think that we're gonna create some more handles on the side here. I just have to think how to run them so they're not boring. Maybe come in like this and up here, maybe something like that. This would be cool. So let's grab a plane. Shift A, grab a plane, RX90 to rotate it. And if you go to edit mode and press Shift 1 with machine, you're gonna end up with a vert, which is exactly what we want. Go here in edit mode, we're just going to move it in here and down here. All right, and this one's gonna be Shift Control B, scroll it down so there's a chamfer. And now we need to move it to the side, so GY, move it in here. Control A, apply scale. Q, and go to Mesh Tools and click on Curve Extract. And press S to smooth it. Now you see that we got this, we got these sharp edges, so maybe that's not ideal. What we're gonna do is go to Curve Extract and press X, which will return us to the curve mode. Alt A and Geo to mesh, so we're back to a mesh. Shift Control B and split it, okay, into maybe 3. And there is a curve in the back that we don't need, so we can remove it. And then we're gonna recurve it again. So Mesh Tools and Curve Extract, and then press S and click and Control 2. and we cook with fire. So we can mirror this to the other side. So select this, shift select this, Control X, X to reset the mirror, because remember we are in symmetry, and copy to the other side. Now let's see how we're looking. It's a bit too close, so we're just gonna move it a little bit, just this one, a bit further away. In fact, what we could do, we could just kind of move it outside, so it's gonna be a bit more interesting, you know. So we could grab these. I don't know if it's gonna work actually, and sort of extrude it here and scale it like that. Okay, so you're gonna get this kind of a shape, which is interesting. And let me see that. This could be a little bit, you know, curvier, a little bit more curvy here, right, like that. And the same with this one, you know, something like this would be probably really cool. Awesome. Now the subdivision, we might actually think about redoing that. I'm gonna redo this curve again. So X and Alt, select the curve, Alt A, visual to mesh, because I want to curve these two. So Shift Control B, and I want to split them, and then we can actually recurve it again. So it's a good, you know, it's a good example of how you can go back and forth with, you know, Control 2 maybe, with curves and geo to create these kind of shapes. You know, this is pretty cool. I'm not crazy about this, so I'm going to mirror this to the other side. There we go. That's better. And this should do. Cool. Okay. Now we need to connect it to the you know, to the shape. So E and just X, and you know, extrude it straight. Did it work? Hang on a second. What the hell happened here? I extruded on the mirror side, which will not work. We need to extrude it in here. So let's go just Control Z, back, select this one, side view, one more time, E, X, and you know, boom. There's your extrusion. Now we can convert it to mesh, and you know, grab this a bit here if we can, sort of maybe move it a little bit down and then split it. So Control B and select this one with Alt, and we can, you know, scale it a little bit like that. So we're gonna get this, and Control click on Sharpen and maybe bevel this. Let me see that. Let's sharpen these edges, okay, and then add a bevel, right, and switch it to weight, and it's gonna catch these bevels here. I'm gonna make it smaller like that. Awesome. Yeah, you can play with this the same here in the bottom if you want to. You can grab this edge here, edge mode with Alt, Control B, select this, scale it a bit, and move it down. So G. Now you see that if I try to move it on a local axis, this happens. So what you need to do is select one of the pieces, go to global, click on this plus, which will create a separate kind of like a custom orientation based on this face normals. And now if we're gonna go GZ, it's gonna go come on, GY, it's gonna go straight down. See, so scale it, GY, and move it down somewhere here, scale it a bit more, and we're done. Select these two edges and mark them, and we beveled, and we sorted, and then we have to just, you know, mirror this across. So select this, shift select this, and mirror, and we're done. Okay, so power save this. Okay, so that's that. Awesome. Okay, now what we could do, you know, we could create some kind of a grate in here or something. So that's gonna be the last thing we're gonna do in this episode. So select that. Let's select the grid. Make sure you're in perspective. Hold Control, and the grid is a bit too big, so we're gonna make it a bit smaller. So hold Control and scroll it down, and you see it gets smaller. Now we can draw a rectangle here, and the way we want it. So something like this. Extrude it, press B for bevel. Come on, there we go. Scroll your mouse to a few segments, press T for solidification, and let's shift click it and see how it looks. Well, it could be a little bit less solidified, so Q, and move your mouse. You can hold shift, something like this will do. and select it and control click on Sharpen. Let's go to local, and what we're gonna do is select one of the verts, control L and P to make this into its own selection, and now this one is, you know, separated. So it means we can run a separate bevel on it, so we can make it a bit smaller. You can select this whole loop in here around, remove this one, control B and make a chamfer. It's gonna look really cool. And we can create some kind of a vent or whatnot here, right? So we could select this piece and press V and scroll a bit, create a vent in here, press B and E and extrude it in, and just shift click and see how we're looking. Yeah, we're looking pretty good. Shift 2 to hide it and control click on Sharpen, and we're done. Now if you really wanted to actually they got connected really well here, but if you wanted to do a better job, you could draw a line before you apply it. So let me show you. Before I apply a boolean, let me go to the front. I grab this one and I'm simply going to draw a rectangle here, press K for knife and slice it, and this will give me this line across. And now if I apply this boolean, control click on Sharpen, you see that it will have this pre-applied edge which will connect all these booleans very nicely. Okay, so now we can select, you know, we can select this edge. If you have a mesh machine, you can select them like this. So select all these here. So one edge on each loop, and then go to Y and S select. Okay, and this will select the loops. If you don't have a mesh machine, you can select this one, Shift G, parameter, Control plus. Well, that didn't work well. Let me try again. Maybe coplanar. That worked. Control plus, and then go here, select loops, boundary loops, and the same effect. Okay. So mesh machine is a bit faster. The bevel is a bit too big, so we're just gonna make it smaller like that. Okay. Now this bevel here inside shouldn't be here, so we can because remember we're running on weight, I think. Yeah, which means these edges get beveled in addition to, you know, to these edges outside. We don't need that, so what we want to do is remove these edges inside. So what we can do is go to Q and hold Control and Shift and click on Sharpen, which will recalculate Sharpen based on the angle of 30 degrees, meaning it will remove all the edges and reapply them to all edges that the angle is more than 30 degrees. Since here the angle is smaller, they get removed. So it's an easy way to clean your thing. We're looking pretty good. This I think would be enough. What we could do is, you know, move this a little bit outside. So let's just reset it to global, GX, and move it a little bit outside so it kind of sticks out. Maybe even a bit more. Kind of like this. It's pretty cool. Awesome. We could, create some wedge cuts later on in here just for fun, maybe on the bottom. So go back to a Boxcutter, and we're going to cut something like this, and press W for a wedge, and press one more time, and then GX, move it in and cut something like this. Shift 2, how are we looking? Well, let's recall this. Let's make it a little bit bigger like that and narrower. So SY like this, and maybe try something like this. Let me see how this would look. So control click here. Yeah, it looks pretty cool actually. I like it. Now what we would need to do is probably, oh no, there is an edge. Good, because if there was no edge here, you see, it wouldn't be beveled. So you need this edge here to make this work. You can have some more fun with it and just keep designing it. But it starts shaping up. Probably gonna make some kind of a terminal out of it. Maybe some kind of a, monitor here, a monitor here, some whatnot here, pipes, whatever. We will think, or like a massive pipe in the back. That's it for the video, guys. Links to hard ups and Boxcutter in the video description. So if you want to buy these add-ons, go for it. And that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Give us a like and sub if you did. Thanks for watching and catch you in the next one.